Welcome back to another UFC breakdown and predictions video. Today we are going to be breaking down and predicting the UFC 275 card. We've got 3 fights from this card we are going to be picking. Let's get right into it. Up first, we have a rematch in Joanna Jedrzejczyk versus Zhang Weili. Now, this is a fight that had already happened. This happened in 2020. It was a 5-round fight, and Zhang Weili was the winner of it. Although it was razor close. Don't let that fool you. If you didn't watch the fight, you would know it was razor close, 48-47. Some people say Joanna should have won that. Some people say the right person won. I think Zhang Weili did rightfully win that fight. But the biggest difference from that fight to this fight is 2 things. Is A, this is a 3-round fight, and B, Joanna Jedrzejczyk is coming off of a 2-year layoff. Joanna Jedrzejczyk definitely didn't need all that time off, especially because she's 2-4 in her last 6. And if she's going to take that time off, I think it would have been better if she came against a tune-up fight in a sense. She's jumping right into the lion's den with this one with Zhang Weili. Zhang Weili is a legitimate killer. This is going to be a tough fight for her, but it is winnable 100%. In their 5-round fight, the judges gave, I think it was, I don't know if it was the first and the second or the second and the third, but out of those first 3 rounds, Joanna did win 2 of them, because keep in mind, this is a 3-round fight. How can Joanna Jedrzejczyk win this? Obviously, her best path to success is just going to be to strike with her. It's just going to be to outstrike Zhang Weili, which in their last fight, she was toe-to-toe with her. Up until the last 2 rounds, honestly, maybe so much the 5th rather than the 4th. You know, Joanna was keeping up, but then the damage just started accumulating and, you know, Joanna started to fall behind. Zhang Weili, however, looks jacked for this fight, and she's training with Henry Cejudo, which Henry Cejudo is a legitimate coach. I think the only time someone has lost with him in his corner was the Korean Zombie versus Alexander Volkanovski fight. Henry Cejudo is legit as a coach, and we all know Henry Cejudo is a great wrestler. Zhang Weili can try to wrestle with Joanna Jedrzejczyk. Now, I know Joanna has pretty good takedown defense, but, you know, maybe it's going to be too much. Zhang Weili has always been a decent wrestler. I know she only went, what was it, 1 for 8, 2 for 8 in the last fight on takedowns. But if Joanna Jedrzejczyk can't defend the takedowns this time, it might be a long night for her. Zhang Weili definitely has more paths to success than Joanna does. Joanna really just has her striking. But I think Zhang Weili can grapple. I think it's going to be tough, but I think she can do it. She can grapple, or she can strike, or go into the clinch, things like that. Zhang Weili definitely has more ways to win. She's definitely the more active fighter between the two. And overall, I think Zhang Weili may just be the better fighter. This fight already happened, and Zhang Weili won. Keep in mind, it was 5-round, like I've said a million times now. But yeah, with the layoff and everything included, with Joanna, you know, taking those 2 years off, with Henry Cejudo helping Zhang Weili in the corner, with her looking more jacked than ever, with Zhang Weili having that rematch against Rose Namajunas, look how much better she did in her rematch. The first match they had, shutout. She got knocked out instantly, which is a bad sign. She is able to get knocked out. Joanna can knock her out. Joanna can land that same head kick that Rose did. She can. She absolutely can. But look how much Zhang Weili adapted and changed, and look how much smarter she fought in that second Rose fight. I think the same exact thing is going to happen here. In this rematch, I think she's going to look way better. She's going to look cleaner, going to look more tactical, more crisp. And now that she knows Joanna's game plan, I think she's going to look even better. So I got Zhang Weili winning this by decision. Up next, we have the co-main event, Valentina Shevchenko defending her title against Talia Santos. Now, let's be honest, Valentina Shevchenko is going to win this fight. We all know it. Shevchenko really isn't just going to lose. She's not. And I know you might be like, oh, well, we all said that about Amanda Nunes up until that Juliana Pena fight, right? I think it's a little bit different. I've always thought Valentina Shevchenko has been better than Nunes. Nunes was also coming off of COVID. Her cardio was absolutely fucked. And I just think overall Valentina is definitely a more technical and just better overall fighter than Nunes ever was. Although I will say this, I will say Talia Santos is definitely one of the better opponents that Shevchenko has had to go against in recent memory. It's not Shevchenko's fault because she beats everyone. She has beaten everyone, and they need to find someone for her to fight. So it's not really her fault she's fighting nobodies. A popular idea I see going around about this fight is, oh, Talia Santos might be able to do it with wrestling. Everyone said that about Jessica Andrade, and then Jessica Andrade got battered in the wrestling. She got taken down. She got out-grappled. She got ground and pounded to a TKO. There's no path to success for Talia Santos. Valentina Shevchenko is just too good. This is going to be an easy win for Shevchenko. I see it being either like a round 4 or 5 knockout or a decision. Not too much to talk about here, but let's go to the main event where there is a lot to talk about. The main event for the light heavyweight championship. This is such an interesting matchup. I'm so hyped for this fight. It is the champion Glover Teixeira versus the challenger Jiri Prochazka. These two fighters couldn't be any more different if they wanted to be. It's a perfect example of young versus old, new generation versus old generation, veteran versus up-and-comer, grappler versus striker. The story here is just phenomenal. It really, really is. Since Jon Jones has left the light heavyweight division, in title fights, the underdog has won every single time. Jan Blachowicz versus Dominic Reyes, Jan Blachowicz versus Israel Adesanya, Glover Teixeira versus Jan Blachowicz, and now we've got this. Now, I know you can't base a pick off of that, but I thought that was very interesting. And before I even go on, I just want to say how disrespectful I find these odds. Jiri being a 2-1 favorite is insane. I didn't even tell you who I'm going to pick yet. I'm not saying I'm picking Glover. But this is such a pick'em fight if I have ever seen one. I am still not sure who I really think is going to win this fight. I really have no idea. This is one of the most unpredictable fights we've seen in a while. We always say that, and we go back and we watch a fight like, oh, we all should have known. Obviously, Jiri was going to knock out Glover. Or we're going to say, oh my God, Glover tapped out Jiri. We obviously knew that was going to happen. You got to remember in the build-up, we all thought, oh, Jiri does have decent takedown defense. He might be able to keep it in that striking realm, and Glover's fucked. Or we're going to say, oh, well, yeah, obviously Glover's going to get it to the ground, and the second he does, it's over, you know? When it's the lead-up, we don't know these things. We have no idea. Can Jiri keep this standing? Can Glover get this to a grappling match? That's what it comes down to. Jiri Prochazka is a very unorthodox but technical and clean striker. He's really good striking-wise. And, don't get me wrong, Glover is too. I mean, look at the knockouts. He's got more knockouts than submissions. He's not a bad striker, but he's a boxer. Jiri Prochazka is like a kickboxer. He is like a Muay Thai artist in a way. You know, he uses elbows and knees and kicks. Glover doesn't kick. Glover doesn't use knees. Glover doesn't use elbows. Glover is essentially just a boxer. He's got that high, tight Mike Tyson type guard, you know, moving. He's got the boxing stance. Meanwhile, Jiri is setting up, you know, low kicks and high kicks and knees and spinning elbows. And that may really be too much for Glover. That is Jiri Prochazka's method to victory. He wants to keep this in a striking match, and he will win. If he can keep this 100% striking, I do believe Jiri Prochazka can win this. Now, the opposite is also true. For Glover, his path to success is grappling. If he can get this to be a ground fight, a grappling match, he is going to win. That is what we are debating here. Who can implement their game plan? Glover's not going to knock out Jiri. I really don't see that happening. And there's no chance in hell Jiri is submitting Glover. Or TKOing him on the ground, to be fair. Either way, ground, if it goes to the ground, Glover wins. If it stays standing, Jiri wins. But which one of those are going to happen? The former or the latter? Is this going to stay standing, or will this eventually hit the mat? That's what this comes down to. If you're trying to make a pick at home, do you think Glover can get... He doesn't need to look good on the feet. He doesn't need to be perfect on the feet. He can get hit. He can get hurt. He can get rocked. We're not debating that. We're not debating if he's going to look good on the feet or if he'll survive the feet. Will he get it to the ground? Because he can get hurt and stumble into a takedown, and that's all he needs. Can he do that? Or can Jiri implement the game plan? Can he stick to the takedown defense? Can he stick to a game plan of, you know, not ditching the game plan once he hurts him, have that adrenaline dump, jump on top of him, and now you're in his guard? You don't want that. Can Jiri stick to that? Can Glover implement the takedown? That's what it comes down to. So let's start talking about it. Is Jiri going to keep this striking? Jiri obviously knows Glover wants to make this a grappling fight. He's admitted that. He's admitted that he's been working on his wrestling. He's admitted he's working on his grappling. He admitted he knows that's exactly what he wants to have happen. And he admitted that he knows Glover's biggest weapon is his pressure, right? And Glover's not dumb either. Glover knows he's looking to get knocked out. You know, Jiri wants to knock him out. He knows that. But Glover's not that bad on the feet. People don't seem to realize this. Glover was outstriking Jan Blachowicz in their fight. And Jan Blachowicz is a great striker. He's not just a powerhouse. He's not just great legendary Polish power. He is a striker. He's a technical striker. He won against Israel Adesanya, not due to power, but to technicality. Glover beat that guy. Now, I know MMA math doesn't always line up and fall into place like that, but you have to take that into consideration. But with that high guard, I said that Glover likes to keep. You know what that leaves him susceptible to? That leaves him susceptible to uppercuts, and he's been hit with uppercuts before. Jiri throws uppercuts. He's been knocked out with uppercuts before. What does that tell you? Let me eliminate this. If there's shadow of a doubt in your mind, if this goes to the ground, it is over. When Jiri scrambles in his past fights and all that, he'll put an arm out, or he'll turn over and give his back. He does it too consistently to just get rid of that habit in his mind in the year and a half he's been training for Glover. He's been saying that, oh, I've been working on my wrestling, I've been working on my grappling and preparing for Glover. If you want the truth out of me, that's not a good sign. That is not a good sign. Once you start changing how you fight and your fundamentals and how you are as a fighter for your opponent, I think you're already losing mentally. Listen, Glover is a great grappler. Jiri can be training grappling, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, takedown defense for months, years. In that time, you will never catch up to someone who's established as a grappler. You will never do it. You just won't. Time trumps all. You will not do it. But a better use of your time would be doubling down on the striking. You know you beat him in the striking department. Don't even look to enter his world. Be prepared for it, but don't plan for it. Be prepared, but don't plan for it. Jiri should have been training, and I'm not saying he's not, he obviously is. Jiri should be thinking, okay, here's how I'm going to knock him out. Flying knee, front kick, uppercut, yada, yada, yada. But he's been saying, oh, I've been training wrestling. I've been training the grappling. That's a terrible, terrible sign in my opinion. So, with all this being said, who do I really think is going to win? I think it's Glover. I think Glover's going to take it. I think Glover is going to get either TKO by ground and pound, but more likely a submission. I do think Jiri Prochazka is going to hurt him. I do, but I think Glover is that he's got that experience. He knows how to stay composed when he's hurt. I know he's been knocked out. He's a little bit chinny, but look at the Thiago Santos fight. He got hurt bad in that fight, and then a minute after getting hurt bad, full mount, boom, 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 playing Kong like the Donkey Kong bongos on his head. I see the same fate for Jiri Prochazka. I really do. Glover Teixeira is a well-rounded fighter. He's not just a grappler. He can strike. He does have striking fundamentals. He does have technicality. His biggest flaw on his feet is his chin. And with Jiri saying that he's looking and training grappling, knowing all that, saying that he admits his pressure is a weapon, I don't know if mentally he's heading into the right place for this fight. And I just don't know if, disregarding all that, if his set of skill sets trumps Glover's. I don't think it does. I think Glover's got the experience. He's got the championship experience. He's got the UFC experience. You know, I know Jiri's been fighting high-level guys outside the UFC, but he's only got 2 UFC fights. He's also not fought in like a year and some change. So with all that taken into consideration, I do see Glover winning this first, but I'm going to say second round submission. So those are my picks. Let me know yours in the comments down below. Let's talk about it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.